let's make something happen. That's the motto. Let's make something happen. I forgot to mention it in the first 2 episodes, but I'm never going to forget again. And now I want to make sure that all the subscribers and all of you who are following the channel know it. Let's make something happen. Let's take it to the next level. And that means practicing our language skills, working on our development as human beings, and working our communication skills with the people that we meet and the people we interact with every day. So let's get right to it. Episode 3, telephoning. I chose it because I thought, this is something that a lot of my students ask me about. They get sometimes flustered, they get a little bit anxious because there's a miscommunication or a communication breakdown completely over the phone. And because you're not there face to face, sometimes you don't know how to react or you say the wrong thing and it might even make it worse. So what to do? Here are some tips. First, the no-nos. Make sure that you don't say, I don't understand. Or you don't say, can you repeat that? All right, I'll tell you why those 2 things are big no-nos. The first one, I don't understand, is too general. Your speaker is going to get confused over the phone. What part didn't you understand? The word that I just used, the terminology, everything I said, this last sentence that I spoke, it's a bit confusing, and the person you're speaking to might get also a little bit frustrated as well. When you say, could you repeat please? To be honest, this is not very natural. Native speakers, we don't say it. We don't say that. That's what you say in the classroom when you're a kid maybe and you want to show respect to your teacher. But that's not what we use in the real world. So an alternative to saying, could you repeat that would be, there's many. But here are a couple of examples. So, I'm sorry, could you say that again? Or in the streets, if we're not on the phone, we would say something like, excuse me, sorry, which I think in most languages you do something similar. You can also use other language techniques like, I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Or, I'm not familiar with your accent. Could you say that again? I think that one is probably one of the best to use because sometimes it is just the accent. Even for native speakers, when we're speaking to another native speaker that has a different accent, we might like have a quick little miscommunication because of that accent. And that simple question right there makes it clear that you speak English, you understand, but you didn't quite catch it. Okay? Or simply just say, could you slow down, please? Another thing that's important to do over the phone is to always ask, especially in English, how something is spelled. Names, addresses, companies, etc. And that gives you a good opportunity to practice spelling out things. My students think that it's a joke when we practice this in class, but actually that's a professional skill that you need to know when you're working, because when you're over the phone and you're taking information, confirmation, bookings, etc., you need to be able to write that down quickly, and when someone is spelling it to you because you asked them to, write it down. Of course, at the end of these phone calls, remember that you can always clarify or summarize or repeat back what you've written down to check it, to confirm that it's right. Yes? Okay, so for instance, you can say something like, let me just read that back to you. Okay, let me just summarize the booking and the confirmation information that you've given to me. Or repeat the word that you thought you heard that you weren't sure of, just to make sure that it was correct. That's another language strategy. So all these little ideas here should help you to be able to avoid these communication breakdowns on the phone. Again, we're not face to face, we don't make eye contact, so it's a little bit tricky. But you know, it's all about staying calm and not losing your patience, and just, you know, asking when something happens, clarifying, etc. Okay. So that's it with the telephoning. I want to add another little part to this segment of this episode, and I've decided that each week I'm going to try and introduce you to 2 new idioms. Native speakers love idioms. English language is full of them, and I don't know, my students never use them, and I know that it's something that's a fluency issue, but if you can just adapt each week, make something happen. Like I said, that's our motto. Adapt it each week in your speaking. I think it can help you a great deal, and you know, I don't know, I think it impresses the listeners when you use idioms. They like that. So the ones I wanted to concentrate on this week are 2 that you could use for customer service. If you're a professional or a young university student working in any kind of service job, customer service, this can be very useful. So the first one is, I'm going to get to the bottom of it, or I'm going to get to the bottom of things. When you say that over the phone or to somebody who's coming to you with a problem or a complaint, and you say, I'm going to get to the bottom of it, that means that you are reassuring that person that you're going to find the root cause, the source of the issue. Not just look, but really find what happened. Okay? The other idiom for today is, it slipped my mind. Okay, you might not think that's with customer service so much, but it might happen that we're human beings, we make mistakes. When we say it slipped my mind, it sounds in English like it's an accident, it happens to all of us. And the person hearing it will be like, okay, we're human, that's what happens. But when you say, I forgot, that sounds worse than it slipped my mind. So we might say that these things, that they mean the same, but what you're conveying is different, okay? So it can be very useful for being diplomatic if you forget something. So those are it with the idioms. You're probably wondering about the t-shirt. I'm representing Padlet, okay? It's a great website. I'm wearing the shirt because I love their site. It's a wallpaper site where you can make collages, group projects, teamwork projects, make a story with pictures, videos, audio. Very easy to use. You could do it with your class if you're a teacher, or if you're a student, you can put together something beautiful to use as a presentation. I really advocate the site, and that's why I'm wearing the t-shirt. I'm going to be representing them for the whole month with the rest of the episodes. Finally, before we finish, because we're running out of time, I would like to say warm thanks to everybody who has subscribed so far. You have given me encouragement and a lot of great feedback, and I'm a bit overwhelmed at your support, so thank you very much. It's really great to see it. And yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I'm grateful, and I don't want to say I, because I feel like we are a community, and if you're subscribing and following this, you can pass on this advice to somebody else, and we can all share advice. And the teachers, please hand in your comments, give the feedback, sign up for the newsletter, okay, on the website, or just press that subscribe button. It's right at the end of this video, okay? Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys next week. Let's make something happen. See you guys.